So the Texans could challenge Deshaun and say, tough, we're going to make you retire. You either play for us or you never play again. And to that I say, really? Really? What's the win? You don't trade Deshaun. Are you willing to go 2-14 this year? All right. You're going to have to deal with the media bloodbath, the fan bloodbath, the constant Watson distraction hanging over the franchise the entire season. Does Nick Caserio, a first-time GM who got a 6-year contract, does he want to deal with all that? Maybe he does. Maybe he's willing to handle it. Maybe they're willing to not budge. I could be dead wrong. I don't see it, though. I think eventually the best course of action for the Texans, what they could sell their fan base on, would be a clean break, clean reset. Trade Deshaun Watson for a boatload of picks. Maintain your cap flexibility going into next year and have a full-on rebuild that Nick Caserio could settle the fan bases. He's the right guy to lay out the foundation for the team. And if you're Deshaun Watson, your value is never going to be higher than it is right now. So if you're the Texans and you're going to trade Deshaun, now's the time to do it. You got two teams in the same division picking back-to-back in the top 3 of the NFL draft. That'd be the Jets and the Dolphins, of course. And to me, the key to a Watson trade for the Texans to maximize his value is to get both Miami and New York to bid against one another. Get the Jets to offer multiple first-round picks and some second-round picks. Get the Dolphins to offer their 3rd overall pick, their 18th overall pick, their first-rounder next year. If you want Tua, take him. And then the Jets could counter and say, all right, well, we got 4 ones over the next 2 drafts. That's how you do it if you're the Texans. Now, you're never going to win a Watson trade because you're trading away a 25-year-old quarterback who's arguably, a top 5 player at his position. But I believe if you're Nick Caserio, you should be inclined to try and get him to the Jets. Because I think if you're Nick Caserio and you're not sold on Zach Wilson or Justin Fields or Trey Lance, that's okay. Because there's going to be plenty of teams that will be. And you could take that 2nd overall pick and you could flip it for a king's ransom. Maybe Carolina calls you, comes up from 8-2 and trades you 2 ones and some other mid-round picks. Then all of a sudden, if you're the Texans, you could essentially tank in 2021, get the first pick next year, have all the picks you got from the Jets in that 2nd overall pick trade, and then have the Jets pick next year as well. Like the Texans could be sitting there and turn Deshaun Watson, if they want to, into as many as maybe 5 or dare I say 6 first-round picks. If they get 3 first-round picks from the Jets, and I think that's the starting point, and then they take the 2nd overall pick they get back from the Jets and flip that into, dare I say, maybe 2 ones, maybe, if there's a team that's absolutely in love with Zach Wilson, like what Washington was when they were in love with RG3 all those years ago. Maybe that's 3 first-round picks. So you could have as many as 5 to 6 first-round picks if Caserio wanted to flip Deshaun Watson to the Jets and then flip the 2nd overall pick. Now, it's not Deshaun Watson, and you're banking on Caserio then finding another franchise quarterback, but at least you could sell hope to the city of Houston that you got a competent guy that knows how to evaluate the draft board and knows how to, maximize his draft capital, essentially. Joe Douglas took the Jets job. He has put the Jets now in position to have 19 picks over the next 2 drafts, to have the 2nd most salary cap space entering this offseason. Caserio could do a similar thing. Yeah, it stinks to trade Deshaun. Believe me, he's amazing. I've seen every game of his career living here in Houston. But that might be the best course of action at this point. Because if you bring Deshaun Watson back, what's the ceiling for the Texans this year? 7-9? 8-8? This team is awful, and they have no draft picks and no salary cap space. Congrats on Mark Ingram. You bring back David Johnson. You sign Mark Ingram. Who's next? Frank Gore? Let's just sign every washed running back, Houston. Why don't you? So that's really my point. It stinks that they got to trade Watson, that they're at this point. But the best course of action now is to trade him, and to trade him to the Jets, because the Jets will give you the golden ticket that is the 2nd overall pick, and then flip that pick into even more picks. Hell, you could flip the Jets' 2nd overall pick with Carolina, get the 8th overall pick, and you could still take a quarterback there. You could take your shot on Mac Jones. Take your shot on Trey Lance or Justin Fields. And if you don't like any of those guys, then trade down again. What's stopping the Texans from doing a trade with Watson to the Jets, get the second overall pick, trade it again to Carolina, and if you're at 8, you don't want to take a quarterback? All right, tank for the year, but trade out of the 8 spot. Take a good player wherever you trade down to. Maybe it's New England. We talked about them last segment with Cam. Maybe New England comes up from 15 to 8 with the Texans, and whoa, another first-round pick goes to the Houston Texans. So what are we at? 6, 7 first-round picks I just turned Deshaun Watson into? I mean, I'm the greatest general manager ever, baby. Nick Caserio could be pounding his chest if he does that. Now, do I know if this is going to happen? I have no idea because the Texans might be so stubborn, so dug in. They might say, bleep you media, bleep you Jake Asman, bleep you NFL fans, and bleep you Deshaun Watson. We're not trading. They might say that. I don't know for sure what the thought process is yet at Kirby Drive. Everyone I talk to and check in with says they're pretty stubborn. They're not going to move them. But they can all say this now. But I do know this. It is Saturday, March 13th. The NFL draft is not till April 29th. About 45 days from now. So we got time. A lot could change. But that scenario I just painted out is something you could sell your fan base on. Watson to the Jets, 3 1s, plus the second overall pick. Take the second overall pick, trade it to Carolina. Or another team that wants to come up and take probably Zach Wilson, it seems like. And then guess what? You trade down again. You have the first pick in the draft next year. You're going to be bad. Play Josh McCown at quarterback. Who cares? You'll be the Sixers of the NFL. But you know what? There's light at the end of the tunnel when you got 7 1s over the next 3 or 4 drafts. 7 1s, 5 2s, cap space. I mean, my God. Plus, when you got the first pick in the draft, it's not just the first pick you have. You get the first pick in every round. So you're picking from a premium every round. I know it stinks, Houston, that you got to trade Deshaun. But wouldn't that be nice to at least turn him into all these picks? You could sell hope. And if Nick Caserio is the GM that people think he is, then this is a rebuild that's not going to take as long as you think. Or how about this? Let's have a simple Deshaun Watson trade. You trade him to the Jets, you get the second overall pick, and you take Zach Wilson. Because it seems like everyone now loves themselves some Mormon Mahomes, Zach Wilson. Seems like everybody loves Wilson. So maybe you don't trade back. Maybe you just trade Deshaun, get 3 1s, take Zach Wilson, and then sell your fan base on a rookie quarterback contract. All these picks, cap space flexibility going forward. Because if you think Wilson's the guy, just take him. You don't even need to do my crazy trade down to 8 and then trade down again. If you like Zach Wilson, heck, there's a lot of teams that seem to. Chris Sims said he'd take him over Trevor Lawrence. Don't laugh, because Chris Sims said he'd take Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen before anybody a couple of years ago. Chris Sims said he'd take Patrick Mahomes before anybody a couple of years ago. So he's got a track record. Heck, maybe the Texans love themselves some Mormon Mahomes. So that's a possibility as well. There are a lot of options for the Texans here. I know it stinks having to trade Deshaun Watson, but to me, you trade him, maximize his value, because trying to stick it to him and forcing him to show up week 10 so his contract doesn't toll over, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. And poor David Culley, nice guy that he is, man, does he not deserve that? But hey, he's getting paid millions, so I think he'll be okay. 800-224-2004 is the number. Sean, you are a Texans fan. Sean Mapes, my esteemed producer. I just laid out a bunch of different Watson trade scenarios. Which one did you like more?
Well, I like the long one where they just keep trading back. I'm not sure if I can explain what you said because I wasn't taking notes during it, and I turned into Zach Galifianakis during the Hangover. But that's definitely the most appealing, is to do a full rebuild. I just don't trust Nick Caserio or Jack Easterby or Cal McNair to have the stomach to actually do that. They're the most like, hey, we just need to win a little bit in the immediate every time. They just want to win the division. Don't care about the Super Bowl, really. It's just the division.
I'm telling you, trade him to the Jets. Take the second overall pick, trade back with Carolina. Carolina comes up from 8-2 to get Zach Wilson. And then you trade back from 8 to 15 to the Patriots, and you're going to have like 7 first-round picks. What's not to like if you're the Texans, besides the whole, well, you had to trade Deshaun Watson. All right, more coming up. The great Bob Ryan joins us next.
Thanks for watching the full YouTube video. If you like what you saw, then please subscribe to my page for more content. Thank you.